Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media FA. Today, I am alone. Today, I'll be discussing the latest live-action DC series, and one that isn't set in DCEU, but instead set in the other. Well, not really. In the well, actually, yes, the in this certain very specific category, the other DC related live action movie universe. Fucking hell. Uh, The Penguin, which is a spin off TV show released for HBO that ties into the Batman. And basically, it's about how the Penguin rose to power. And to be genuinely honest, this is probably one of the best series in all of 2024, and probably one of the better ones we've reviewed on the podcast in general. It is really good, like really good. But I guess that we're just going. What we're gonna do is that I'm gonna explain why it is that way. I mentioned this series. We've been talking about this series for quite a bit, but I mentioned this series in my Athol All Along review, where I said that this series released around the same time as Agatha All Along, and kind of blew it out of the water, like in like ratings wise and pretty much everything. I've heard more people talk about the Penguin than I've heard people talk about Agatha All Along. Like, the Penguin was a pretty big show, and it really deserves it because, again, it's one of the better shows of 2024. And yeah, so how did a show about the Penguin of all things turn out to be one of the best things that came out last year? Oh, not last year, but this year. I don't know. The Penguin has been one of those characters that just kind of has been a bit weird. The Penguin. The last time we saw the last time before the Batman that we saw the Penguin was in 1992's. I think it was 1992's Batman Returns, which is when Danny DeVito played the Penguin instead of instead of who plays it now, which is well, obviously because it's been fucking. But yeah, like, Danny DeVito played the Penguin back then, and he was like a weird bird man hybrid thing in Batman Returns. So yeah, that one was just kind of weird. But then they brought him back. Then they brought the character back to live action for the Batman, and he was much more. He was played much more like the like the actual character from the comics. But he's not called the Penguin here because of his I'm pretty sure it's because of his long nose that in the comics that he was called the Penguin, or whatever. I have not watched Batman Returns, but I'm gonna guess that it's that in that movie he's called the Penguin because he looks like a bird. He looks like a penguin. But in this movie, but in the movies and in the show, it's explained that he's called the Penguin because he has he walks like one because of his of his bad leg. People say he walks like a penguin, and that's like the story. That's like the reason behind his name in the show. The Batman universe has taken a very grounded approach to every single one of its characters. That's especially because I've made fun of that. I've said that I like the fact that we have a grounded version of the character and we can explore a much more, I guess, fantastical approach in the DCU proper, and have this sort of Elseworlds style universe just for, like, I guess, what would Batman look like if he was like completely and utterly grounded pretty much grounded in reality. And The Penguin continues that. They don't do anything super. Again, they don't do anything supernatural. It's very grounded. It's very. It has no like superhero of anything. It's all taken very seriously. And I've said that I don't have a problem with that, but I do kind of find the name of the universe funny. I think it's like the Batman Epic Crime Saga. Like I don't know why they put the fucking. They could have just put Batman Crime Saga, and it would have been fine. The fact they put Epic in there is kind of funny, because like that's like the last thing I would use in this day and age. No, like Epic has gotten not the best reputation in this in this era. But aside from that, there's not much else. There's not much else to say other than yeah, like it's very grounded and it's a very different take on the character, and it was a very interesting. I mean, it wasn't like the most interesting thing to do to take the universe, because like it kind of made sense in a standpoint, because I mean, who you can make a Catwoman series, but I don't know where that character left off. Like the best way to put it is like, oh yeah, Catwoman was already Catwoman in the Batman, but the Penguin was definitely this character that was much more of a lackey in the movie itself, rather than the crime boss that we see in the comics, and how most people know him. And even then, like before the series came out, we had a Batman Cape Crusader, which showed us a Penguin that had that was a crime boss. But she was kind of like fucking just like kind of wasted in the series. I feel like she just had like that version of Penguin had like too little screen time, but at least like her role was kind of impactful, leading I forgot his name already, but like the guy who sent the hit on Harvey Dent. I completely forgot his name, but like him to sort of to like step up in power and like take that hole that the Penguin left. But anyways, in this series, it's a Penguin going up the ranks and becoming the crime boss that we all know and love. And I don't think it's very love. I think in the context of this series, we do know him, but we may not love him because he is a villain. And I'm glad that the series. What I'm glad that the series does is that I'm glad the series doesn't take away from that. Like, yes, this guy's a lot of projects. Like, for example, the Sony Spider-Man universe, they use villains for their except Madam Web and technically Venom. They use villains for their movies, but they never lean into the fact that they are villains. It's mostly just anti-heroes. Like a very bad depiction of anti-heroes. Anti-heroes, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And that's kind of sad. But the Penguin, being a series about the Penguin, a very prominent DC villain, it does not stray from that at all. And the fact is, this series is TVMA to the fucking brim. I was surprised that the series was TVMA. When I heard the second, I know that I looked it up quite a bit ago, but if you use one F-bomb if you use one fuck in a TV show, like that's already TVMA. And like, when they dropped the second one, I'm like, oh, okay. I did not know this would be TVMA, but I'm glad it was, because we got, I think, a very good storyline out of it, that they just had no restrictions on what they could show or what they couldn't show. But yeah, so actually kind of delving into the series now. This will be kind of different. This little, like, we usually start off with like the CGI and action, all that, but that's not the case with the series. The series, for once, it's not like it doesn't have action, but it has very little of it. And it's not to the grand spectacle of, like, if Batman was there. Because, hell, like, Penguin is kind of, is like, has a bad leg. He's not going to have the best, the series it's not going to have the best action in the entire like in the Batman, it's not gonna have like as good action as like if Batman was there, you know. But uh, but and this show doesn't really use a lot. So, like, this show uses CGI, but it doesn't use it too frequently, and it's and like a lot of the things are just like practical effects, which are fine. I can go over how good they are, but even then, it doesn't use practical effects. Well, I mean, it does use practical effects very much because hell, Colin Farrell, or yeah, I think it's Colin Farrell. He is technically he is caked in makeup from in like prosthetics from how much like shit he has to go through to even get it to even become the Penguin. Like special like practical effects do fucking happen. Like they are here. They are very very present, and it's all the time. Which I mean, sure, I can commend it in that sense. But I feel like it's kind of unfair because it's like every fucking time, like, every time we see it, every time we see the Penguin, it's like technically we're used to seeing special effects. So I don't want to count it. Not special effects, but like practical effects. So I don't want to count it, but it's there. Like it's a thing, and you know it looks good. Like a lot of the fact, like because they use CGI so sparingly, and also they use like effects in general so sparingly. Like it all looks good. So where does that leave us? Like we can't we can talk about it, but like there's so we can talk about CGI, but like and like effects in general. But they are so sparingly used that there's almost nothing to say other than like the prosthetics and the makeup used for Colin Farrell's transformation into the character of the Penguin. Because I remember I saw I heard that Colin Farrell was like, I am so fucking like I was so glad that I was done. I did not want to spend a single second more recording that shit because of the makeup. And like yeah, damn, that's a lot of fucking like prosthetics and shit you have to go through to even like attempt to like do anything. It's kind of insane how much fucking he's just like actually caked in makeup. So yeah, but where does that leave us? So I'm gonna talk about something different. So starting off, I'm actually gonna talk about the acting of the show, and the acting is spectacular. Like it is some of the best acting I've ever seen, but I am not exactly the most well versed in series. I mean, what I review on the podcast is mostly what I watch, so there's that. But that's not the case here. This act, well, when we get to Breaking Bad, probably like or later on in Breaking Bad, you're probably gonna see more of that. But the acting here is superb on every single aspect. Colin Farrell is like as Penguin, he can deliver those lines and deliver very charismatically. Like I think he's perfect for the role. He does such a good job as the Penguin, and even through like all of those prosthetics and makeup, he can like you can see you can see like him making like these expressions. You can see what the Penguin is feeling and all that, and that is like obviously they made it like they obviously made the prosthetics to so he can like do those things because the series was gonna have to the series was going to have to like account for that because they obviously wrote it to be that way. But even like he can like do like micro expressions through like the prosthetics and all that. It's seriously impressive, and like kudos to Colin Farrell. He does an amazing job with the material, and that's not even just him. Like the other characters, like Victor and Sophia, like they also do amazing jobs. And I'm not sure if starting off with Victor, I don't know. I'm not sure if Victor's actor actually suffers through stuttering, I can't tell because it is like genuinely very good. Like it, no, like stuttering isn't good. He's not there. I suffered through stuttering. I know that like, after fucking 300 something episodes, almost 400 episodes, you probably noticed that I am not the most well versed in actually speaking my fucking language. But yeah, I suffer through stuttering, and sometimes I have very bad like breakouts of it. Like you're probably gonna notice at some point of me just like being stuck on a word, which is not exactly what I want to happen. But like it's just how my vocal cords or whatever the fuck problem I have works. But anyways, aside from that, how the actor for Victor does stuttering is seriously impressive. And as someone who suffers through it, I can't tell if the actor is just like that or if his acting is that good. It's it's kind it's kind of cool to see that just like acting that good that you can't even tell if the actor actually has that or not. But I feel like he definitely like embodied it well, and it's like seriously just again it's just like acted well, it's portrayed well, it's realistic. It's not like he's stuttering every sentence. He's not it happens sometimes like when he's nervous. It works. It's a good portrayal of suffering through stutter, and it's just like it's just great to see. And like even outside of like that aspect of his acting, he's just a great actor overall. He does all these scenes like emotional scenes very well, and it just it's a really it's just a great time seeing like the actor portray the character. And Sophia Falcone, holy shit, the actress for Sophia Falcone does an amazing job, and it always keeps like I feel like what they went for the character and what the actress went for the character is something very interesting because you don't because you it leaves you on like this very big question of whether the the character is actually insane or if she's just doing these or if she's just like being portrayed as insane. Like it's like yours to sort of look at, and it does well with like the actual. We're gonna get into the actual character later, but it does well with like the actual like how what happened to her. But obviously, it's portrayed in a way where again we're gonna get into the character that it doesn't contradict what happened, like what her backstory is. It instead sort of adds to it, like you like this questioning of like if she's like actually like insane as everyone like calls her to be, everyone's right, or if she's like in the right in her right mind, and just making these decisions because they're the only decisions that actually have like that have consequences uh and have like you know like have like results, and like condemn the people that she hates and all that. Like it's seriously like very well acted, and I gotta give like the actress that. Like it's such a good performance. And even then, some of the other characters I think also do it very well. Like for example, Francis's actress again portrays her sickness very well in a way where you see her sort of change when it like takes over and all that. It's just it's very the acting in the show is very good, and I gotta give the actors, like the acting director, like all of that, like all the people that are like within that, like within the specific area of acting, some very big kudos because they made the characters feel alive and made them feel like real people, and it's just very well made. It's just very very well made, and I cannot give enough like kudos. I can't give enough like praise. It's just really good acting. So what came of this act of this great acting? Let's talk about the characters because they are some of the best parts of the obviously the show is very good on every standpoint, but the characters are some of the best aspects of the show, and I won't be able to stop talking about them. I generally won't. It is they are really really well written, and I feel like they need like their own fucking like just like, this is the one episode where they need their own segment. They are so well written, and I wish like if this were to be a 2 hour episode, I don't know if it is. We are 20 minutes in, but I could probably not stop talking about this. So let's just get into them. Right. So the characters. We gotta start. We gotta start with the obvious. We gotta start off with Oswald Cobb / the Penguin. I will say it's not. I don't like the fact that he's called Oswald Cobb. Originally, people thought maybe it was like, oh, his name is Oz Cobb, which is even worse. But his name is, in fact, just Oswald Cobb, and I think that is the genuinely just the fucking stupidest name change they've ever done for a character. Like they kept him as the Penguin, but they changed Oswald Cobb because I don't know I don't know why. I don't know why they kept it as Oswald. I don't know why they didn't keep it as Oswald Cobblepot. I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't just keep it as Oswald Cobblepot. There's no reason for this name change. It just kind of sounds stupid, and it sounds like they're so like they're micromanaging the shit out of the universe. To be completely honest, it sounds like they're micromanaging the shit out of the universe to make it as realistic as possible, and they thought Oswald Cobblepot was too unrealistic. like it's insane to think about that. They went, oh yeah, no, Oswald Cobblepot, no. But a gangster called the Penguin, yeah, that thing can fucking stay. I don't know why. I don't know why they even went in that direction. I feel like it would have been. I feel like you didn't even need to fucking change the name. Like it just didn't need to happen. Like it's such a weird decision to even change that. So, yeah, I like you probably can guess, I'm not the biggest fan of the change, even though like it's not the biggest deal. Like it just isn't the biggest deal at all to anyone really. So, yeah, but aside from that, how is the character of the Penguin? Well, he is among one of the best. Okay, there are a lot of really well-written characters, and the Penguin is one of the best ones in the entire series. But that's saying quite a bit because I feel like, but it's one of the best, but it's not the best. Let's put it that way. So the Penguin, obviously, in this universe is a slimy bastard. Since he isn't the big crime boss we all know him as, he has to work his way to the top. And in in that instance, there are things he does that are a bit um traitorous. I would compare it to Starscream from Transformers, and the fact that he just does things that just go against everything that he like he goes up for, but like he does things for pretty much only his benefit, and yeah, like he just does things for his own benefit, and sometimes royally screws over people just because they're in his way. For example, he tries to. It has to do with the shipment of with Bliss. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, it has to do with the fact that the Falcons are like doing are like moving along, and he wants to take down the Falcons. So he goes to Maroni, and Maroni, oh no, and Maroni is like, okay, well, yeah, like I know this is all be okay. So the story that I'll talk about it in the plot, but basically he kills the sort of heir to the Falcone family, and now Sophia wants revenge, and what 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 the penguin does, or like what Oswald does, is that he goes to the Maroni's for help and all that to he goes to the Maroni's for Bliss, but to sell Bliss after he got like the recipe for it. He got everything. He got it pretty much, and what he does is he just kind of he betrays both sides. He kills I forgot his name. I really did. But he kills he basically sets up a gang war between the Maronis and the Falcons, so they can take out each other by implying that even like okay, so I forgot his name, but like he's supposed to be the holiday killer, but the heir to the throne had Maroni's ring, so then he cut off the ring, like he cut off a finger with the ring, and like sent the corpse to the Falcons, which was seen as the Falcons as an act of war by the Maronis, even though the Penguin is with the Maronis. Alright, at this point, he's helping the Maronis take some Falcon. I think it's either Falcon. He's like helping with Bliss or something. I don't know. I think it's the former. But yeah, he's playing both sides, but like betraying both sides at the same time. He's going against everything. Sometimes he does like technically good things, where he restores power to Crown Point, which will lead us, which is like where Victor came from. He restores power to Crown Point, just so they can run out from there. Like he does things just for his own benefit, and like even then, like he just does things just to fuck over people because he wants to be at the top and he wants to be the only one at the top. So yeah, and also he completely screws over his potential business partners by making technically new business partners. And yeah, no, I feel like the Penguin is such a good character, just very well written. You're not meant to like him. Like, I was talking to somebody which watching the Penguin and also watched Sopranos, and like said, oh yeah, the Penguin isn't as likable as Tony Soprano or whatever. I forgot his name. He's not as likable. And it's like, oh yeah, I think that's the point. You're not meant to like the Penguin because hello, he's the fucking Penguin. Like, you're not meant to like this character that is gonna be one of the most ruthless villains of Batman, like one of the ones from this era of like crime, of like just like crime boss, like the mafia and all that shit that has like stayed within the Batman mythos, and it's such a villain that has survived being taken out. Like he's gonna be one of the more ruthless ones. So of course he is not going to be like he's not gonna be likable. He's gonna have to do some fucked up shit, and he does do some fucked up shit in the series, and I'm glad they don't shy away from that. For example, like he has always been like this sort of monster and like very jealous person. Always wanted to be the best one that's shown in the flashbacks where he kills his own brothers for attention, and like and we see how like you see how he doesn't really care. Yeah, he has no remorse over it. He doesn't even care for what other people think and what other people want. Like for example, with Francis, his mother, like he said, like she said that if she ever ends up like being completely disabled and not being able to move or anything, she wants Oz to kill her, like just like put her out of misery. And Oswald doesn't do that because he has such an attachment to his mom and like what he did to get her attention. Like he cares so much about her. In quotations, like it's such a it's such an it's such a villainous character. I'm glad that we get that part of him, that we get this sort of very villainous part of the Penguin, that we don't shy from that. And even then, like there are parts of the show that even like I said with the acting, and there's some parts of the show that I do think Penguin is likable. He is funny. Like he's like I said, like I think Colin Farrell was the best, like one of the best choices for the show, because he is such like for the character in general, because he's just so funny and he delivers the lines so well, and like in a very comedic tone. Like for example, like I think first episode, he get like him and Victor get sandwiches, and he goes like a fucking tirade about pickles, and it's delivered so well. It lands, like the joke lands, and like even then, like so some other thing, he like pretty much he pretty much like coerces Victor into staying. And like what happened, we're gonna talk when we get to Victor, but what happened to Victor, like you didn't want to happen, but like you kind of like what happened with Penguin, like in that scenario, like god damn, like it's just such such a good, it's such a well written character, and like and you follow him, and he's struggling, and obviously because he's such a slime, you see him like how he gets away with it, and how he twists people, like thoughts, and able to do that until he really can't, and now he has to go full on aggression. But even then, you see how he commands people to do so, like how he does good things. Like I guess not well meaning, but definitely like beneficial things to get people on his side. At least beneficial things to other people, like would help other people, and like it just, you see how this character is kind of like worms his way to the top, and it's like you don't root for the guy, but you like god damn, that guy is smart. And I feel like there are no like dumb turns in the show that I feel like just go against what the character would do. Like, at least this version of the character. This version of the character is, I think, one of the smartest depictions of the Penguin, and I feel like a lot of people in the show take him for granted. But you see how like this point, like how he went from the bottom to the top, and like you see how, and you see the skills, and you see everything he used to get to this point. It's such a it's such an interesting it's just an interesting take on the character. that I can't help but applaud. Like I really can't help but applaud. This is one of the best depictions of the Penguin, and like even then, like in the movie, he's not used as much. Let's be real. He's not used in the movie as much as like a lot. He's a very memorable part of the movie, but here, obviously, it's his show, so he's left to just shine on his own, and he does shine. He does very well shine the show. I feel like he is one of like I said, he's one of the best characters in the show. Like he is genuinely one of the best characters in the show, and I feel like even then, like sometimes like time is taken from him to focus on other characters, and even then, like he does very well. Here's like I don't I know I've mentioned some things about the about characters and then not growing, like me being me having a very big problem with characters not having character development, and the Penguin, at least to me, what I remember from the show, it's been quite a bit since I watched it, didn't have all that much character development. He mostly stays static, but I feel like that worked. I feel like him staying static, like as a static character, and I was just kind of seeing where he went in sort of like a material and physical way instead of like an emotional way. I feel like worked for his character better. I really think it just worked better as a for his character to just kind of show him be like getting more like physical material things and more like material gain rather than like character gain or like emotional gain and all that. Also, we see him at like low points, especially when his mother enters the vegetative state. But aside from like we don't like he mostly gains stuff physically, like material gain, and that's his technical character development. Us seeing him get to that point. Just very, very well made in all aspects. And again, that obviously goes in with his character arc, where a character arc implications of him becoming the crime boss of all Gotham, and him having this goal but never changing along the way. Him just kind of pretending, not even pretending, just like doing things but doing it differently and taking advantage of everything. It's such a well-written character. I didn't need any character development at all. But yeah, but the thing is, obviously, the Penguin, being the main character, has a lot of impact, and I feel like that's the best substitute for character development, having an impact on the development of other characters. That is, I think, the best substitute you could have for character development. If you want to have a static character, what you can do is that you can instead have the impact of the character and how the character impacted other characters and how they impacted the world and all that. That is the smartest way to handle a static character. That's just like the smartest way. It's kind of showing the impact and how people like change because of the character's actions, even if it's bad or good. And oh boy, there is some change. There is some change in the characters here. Let's start off with the sort of secondary main character, the deuteragonist of the of the show, Victor Aguilar. Which, if you remember, or if you don't, if you never fucking watched it, you might know that back then, I was asking, is this going to be the Penguin's protege? And it was definitely looking that way for the show, until it wasn't. So, Victor Aguilar, he is a character made specifically for the show. He is not based on any previous character. He's just not. He's not based on any previous character. He is completely original for the show. And I don't mind his inclusion. A lot of people, like, there have been cases of characters being created for specific things, like for new universes and all that. for pre-existing for existing IPs, adding new characters, completely brand new, not based on anything else that just kind of like add to the story. Like for example, Agent Coulson in the Avengers was made he wasn't just in the Avengers, but for the MCU, Agent Coulson was a completely original character. He was not made. He did not come from the comics. He didn't make his transition into the comics, but he wasn't made in the comics. He didn't appear in the comics until after his MCU debut. And another one, a very popular example, Harley Quinn was made for the Batman animated series, but she later made her debut in the comics after she became quite a popular character, and she has stuck around for quite a bit. Harley Quinn is one of the most popular characters from all DC, and she did not come from the comics. She came from Tim Miller's mind, whoever fucking made the Batman animated series. I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure it was Tim Miller. I'm not fucking crazy. Batman animated series. Or Batman the Animated Series, but I don't want to say the Batman the Animated Series. Bruce Timm, not Tim Miller. I'm fucking stupid. It came directly from Bruce Timm's mind. And yeah, no, I feel like it does. I feel like sometimes characters like that, like a lot, like if they're written well, characters like that can work. And Victor Aguilar is one of these characters. Victor Aguilar is sort of like, he is again the secondary protagonist, the deuteragonist, and we see him just becoming him. We see this transition into the underworld, like of this person who wasn't part of of this world becoming part of it, and how it affected him, and like how it affected him pretty well, how it affected him and all that. So Victor Aguilar was a citizen of Crown Point that later just when the Riddler they blew up the dams of Gotham, not the dams, the water walls, or the fuck they call it, to block out the water. Crown Point was obliterated. It was sent into complete chaos, and it was a bad place. And Victor Aguilar lost his family, lost his home, and he's been pretty much ever since then. He just been homeless, doing crime, like small time crime, and then he finds the Penguin after trying to steal his wheels or something, which is a parallel to Jason Todd, when Batman found Jason Todd trying to steal his wheels. And I think, and sure, he's not Victor Aguilar is not Jason Todd, but he took inspiration from Jason Todd. I think somebody said, I think one of the writers, the producer of the series said, or showrunner, the showrunner, I don't know who did, that Victor Aguilar took inspiration from Jason Todd, and where Jason Todd could have gone if somebody else found him, or if he hijacked someone else's car or something, like that sort of idea. But they didn't make him Jason Todd because I think they knew that they want to save Robin next. They want to save they want to do something with Robin in the future for the Batman universe. But I'm not sure that it seems like what they want to do, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Victor Aguilar is a very good character, and we see him enter this world, and then we see him do a lot more things, and we see him how he sort of starts in this world. He's doing small crime, but then he started helping out the Penguin He pleads for his life. He wants to help. He wants to help and all that. And we see how he pretty much destroys his life. He becomes so loyal to the Penguin. After like losing it, like losing his family, he sees the Penguin as like a father figure, like a friend, or like, at least like a family member they can rely on. And we see him like he doesn't have that much confidence in him at the beginning, but we see him build that confidence. We see him like, and that leads to him like killing somebody, and we see him like do like make a lot bigger moves and all that. And some of the things he does to stay in this world do ruin his life. For example, he has like one of his girlfriends survived, and she's moving out to California, and Victor almost goes with her, but he declines last minute to stay with Oswald, because like that's what he wants to do. That's his, like, he believes that's his life now, and that eventually leads to him like becoming more close to Oz, and like that leads to him trusting him more and all that. And that leads to him like, and we see Oz like saying like, oh, like you could leave at any time and all that. Like he's not holding him prisoner or anything, because he doesn't know anything like at that point, anything like to. I mean, maybe he would kill him either way. But like we see how Victor helps out Oswald, and you see how he relies on this guy, and like how like he became like he goes even for nothing. And we see in the show, like he goes to fancy dinners. He's a lot of money and all that. He's having like the best time of his life pretty much at this point. And we see how it destroys him. Like at the end, how like his reliance and his like loyalty to Oswald, like legitimately, and like and ends up with him being killed because he knows too much, and like he's a liability because Penguin can't have anyone to like that he cares about. He sees that as a weakness, like anyone else to have attachments with, because like he doesn't want that. So he kills like Victor, and like his life, it ends up with him being killed, and that is not the ending you want for a character that went through all of that, but it almost makes sense with what they wanted to go with in the story. Like it's so well written, and you see how the character like went up to this point, and how he could have gotten out at any point. Like we see, like Oswald says that he could just leave. We see he has a very big get out of jail free card here, and he doesn't take it. It's such a well written like character, and it's not like, oh, he stays for no reason. Like he stays because it's what he likes, not what he likes, but like what he thinks he likes, and what really brings in what he wants, which is like success in the actual life and having purpose and all that. Like it's so well written. I can't get over it. Like it's such a really interesting take for a character, and something that not only like we see his character grow and all that, but we see this character like have like being torn down, and we see Oswald like how far Oswald goes. It's so it's such a well written. I can't stress over enough. It's so well written. It's such a nice addition to the world and to the universe. And just wow, just the best thing they could have done for the Penguin. Just add this character. This character added so much to the show, and like Penguin couldn't have gone anywhere without Victor. But when he started to use this, he got rid of him. And what Victor wanted was like a good life, but that's not what he got. That's not what Victor got. And that's just sad, and we are meant to feel sad for this character, and we are meant to hate the Penguin. Like that is well written. Like when the characters are meant to be hated, we are supposed to hate them, but we're supposed to hate them like at a reasonable amount, not like being over exaggerated with what they go with. Just having it there. It's just it's just that's just it. Like it's just how it works, and I like that about the show. The fact that they can go in that direction, where they can show like the monstrosity that is the Penguin. But yeah, Victor Aguilar, just again like as the protagonist and like supporting the Penguin like as a character and in the story itself, and like showing what the Penguin can do and how him standing as a character on his own two legs. I feel like Victor Aguilar is one of the best characters. Again, just one of the best characters in the entire show. But not the best. Again, not the best. I think he's the third best. Oswald being the second. And the next character, which is also a victim of the Penguin, Sophia Falcone. Or Sophia Gigante. Or Gigante. I think it's Gigante. Yeah, Gigante. Yeah, so Sophia Falcone is a breakout character. I have not seen this actress. I have not even seen this character ever mentioned before. Like, I don't know anything about the Hangman. I don't know anything about Sophia Falcone. Like, this was a surprise. I did not know what to expect from this character. And I was blown away. Legitimately blown away. I thought about it in the acting, but let's start with the backstory of this character. She was framed for the murder of some girls that her father, fuck, I forgot his name. He's Falcone. Carmine Falcone, killed. He was framed from that. She was framed from that. Sent to Arkham for 10 years, even though that's not what she was meant to serve. And later came out, and she's on a quest for revenge, even though that's not that. And it all sort of springs up when Oswald kills her brother, which she cares about. Not really, but she always wanted to have revenge, and now and we see how it transpires, and Oswald being her major problem. And goddamn, this character, such a well-written piece of writing, like of my character writing. Like, goddamn, this is an amazing character. Sophia Falcone is, by all definitions, the most heroic, in a way, character in the show, where she generally just wants to. She wants to take over the Falcones, but she kills them all, and she wants to kill like the biggest scum in the city, like with the Penguin, like him just starting off a gang war. Like, she is technically the most heroic character here, and she was framed wrong, and we see her sort of devolve into the person that she was framed as. Okay, to put into perspective, like she wasn't framed like that, but everyone fears her as the Hangman, and we see her, and I feel like we see her devolve into the Hangman, or like I guess like it might be evolve. I don't know. It's just and like I said with the acting, like you don't know if she's actually just going insane, or if she's just like in her right mind, doing these things for the betterment of everyone, like for her own revenge, instead of just being insane. Like her, and she does like things that aren't really insane. Like things, she's not insane. She's just very like. She's just very. What do you call it? She's just like very revenge thirsty, like bloodthirsty. But she's not insane. She wasn't like she was almost driven insane. But she stayed. But she stayed like in her right mind. Or at least it's implied that she did. Somehow, like it's kind of insane, like what they even like did with this character, this unknown. And goddamn, the episode where we find out about that is the best episode of the entire show. Just After that point, the show just never stops hitting. It is like that episode is just wow. Like you don't know where it's going, and then you see where it went, and you're like, holy shit. I was like, when I was watching the episode, that was the first time I ever just like went in my mind like, holy fucking shit. That was that reveal. It was insane. Like that reveal of Sophia Falcone. I like being innocent, like well, innocent quotation marks. At that point she was innocent, but like later becoming the hangman. Like wow, and we see what she became. Like god damn. And then the reveal of like of it all being because of Oswald and her having like this vendetta against him, especially after he betrayed her. Like it's insane to think about. But yeah, what a great character, and I'm glad that she wasn't killed. Like she like okay. What's the biggest irony about like this entire show is how it ends, because Sophia Falcone just wants to be free. She just wants to get rid of like this entire life. Just wants to leave it behind. She's going to Italy. She's gonna leave it behind, right? She just wants to leave it all behind, and just wants to take them all out. But that's not what happens to her. Oswald does the scummiest thing imaginable. He's about to kill her. Like, well, he's pretending to about to kill her. She's like accepting that like she's gonna be finally free, and then she gets sent right back to Arkham Asylum, and that is the biggest irony and the one of the biggest piece of shit things Oswald does in the entire show. Just like send her right back to where she started, and like officially driving her mad. God damn. Like wow. What happened to this character is just such like brilliance like expressed in character writing. It's honestly insane. If you want a lesson, just like watch this show, because this show is incredible when it comes to this sort of thing, and I could not recommend it enough. If you're a writer and you want to know things, this is one of the shows that you should watch for character writing and also plot. We'll talk about the plot later. I feel like that's all I want to mention. The next character I want to talk about is Frances Cobb, Oswald's mom, and she is very well written. We don't really see much of her. She is a very big part of it, and obviously, like, we see how like, resistant she is to everything, but we do have certain these certain moments with her, and we see how she cares about about her sons, and we see that she always knew that Penguin killed her sons, and like she's never forgiven him for it, and she is just one of the best, a very good character. Not one of the best, but definitely one of the very good characters in the show. Again, we don't see her much, but she's a big part of that of the finale, and she's mostly there to serve to like just kind of like help out like Oswald's character, instead of her being she is her own character, and we see how but it's mostly to show Oswald's character instead. You know, again, that's what a supporting character should do. Should highlight the other characters instead of like just being like this throwaway character that you could go without. But I'm glad that Frances Cobb is a character we see here, and like her fate really segments how much of a piece of shit the Penguin is. It's kind of it's a great character. It's a great character, and what I would say is sort of like, and that's up is my not my least favorite, but I think out of the 5 best written character, out of the 5 most like biggest character, I think he's like the least well written, just because of like how much we see of him is Salvatore Moroni, here played by Clancy Brown of all people. I'm glad that Salvatore is here. He was part of the. I think he was quite a big component of the original Batman movie, because I guess I know that like Batman was talking about how people ratted out Salvatore Maroni. Uh, so like him being in prison probably originally from what happened in the movie. I am not sure. I haven't watched it since 2022. I've not watched again. I have not watched it since, so I'm not sure. But Salvatore Maroni does him here. He does his job well. I like that when Penguin, when he dies, he dies very anticlimactically, and it leads to Penguin being like very mad that he didn't get a fight with Salvatore. Uh, Again, we don't see him much, but I'm glad. But obviously, the scenes where he is like present and having problems with the Penguin, I think like they're very fun and very good. Not fun, but very good. Like when this is the worst example for fucking fun, but like for a good example of his character is when like he's very mad that Penguin killed the entire family, like everything he cared about, and then later he died. And that same thing, very climatically. I don't fucking know. It's in a very anticlimactic way, and again, like I liked how Tamura was here. I like his character, but he's not the best. He is not on the same league as these other ones, and I don't have much to say about Salvatore, to be honest. So let's just move right into the plot and wow, the story of this show. Like there is a lot to talk about, but one of the things to start, I think that this show has a very good plot line. Everything is connected. Everything is so cohesive. It's very well written. Like everything stems from again I'm just gonna look up the name. I can't be fucked to just keep forgetting. I can't have this just like be in the back of my mind for the entire show, the entire episode. Sorry. Alberto. Okay, when like everything stems from Penguin killing Alberto, and like him like again framing the Falcons, not framing framing the Maronis, starting the war between them, and him stealing the idea of Bliss from Alberto, and him partnering with Sophia and all that. It's kind of insane how well this goes and how how that evolves into like this whole big into the other show. Like it is genuinely impressive that like this show doesn't lose that like moment, like that like plot line at all. Everything stems from that moment, and everything just like it all works in its own beautiful way. It's like everything is in this. It's just like very cohesive and just very tight, and like just, the plot line is just very well written. Like just everything ties like everything ties in. Everything comes from me. Like, things have consequences. Just wow, genuinely just wow. Even again, like I said, for characters, if you want to see how a plot is written, then you should watch the show. This is a very good exercise for like to see how you can do characters in a way where characters and plot in a way where you have enough time to do it. Now, and if you don't, like how much of that time you have, and how you can spare the time and how you can do all of that. It's just so good, just so good. And something I didn't mention, I haven't mentioned yet, but the plot is left to just floor. It's left to just flow in whatever pace. This show has 8 episodes. The show is on the same level as your usual Star Wars show, but the problem I have with the Star Wars shows is not in this series. the shortest episode is 40 minutes of in here. And usually one of the shorter episodes of like a Star Wars series, like for example, Acolyte, is like 20 minutes. And for this, and something that Penguin I can commend is the fact that it knows how long it needs to tell its own story. It doesn't. It knows it needs hour-long episodes to tell its story, and it uses them very well, very efficiently, because it's telling a very grand story, and that's something that a lot of shows within Marvel and Star Wars don't get. The fact that they need more time the fact that you have less episodes to work with means that you have to make you have to just kind of make longer episodes so you can have more time to develop those plot lines and those characters and everything. And this show uses that very, very well. It's commendable. Again, this is how you manage a show. The plot line is handled. It's given the time it needs. The characters are given the time they need to grow, develop. Everything is there. And something I said earlier, like that there are no, and even then, like it's well paced. There is one thing that that I don't like. It's the littlest. It's the tiny nitpick. There is a time skip within the show between episode 6 and 7 or something like that. Or I think it's either 6 or 7. I think it's 6 or 7. 6 to 7 that Penguin is like in this like tough spot that he doesn't have enough mushrooms to reproduce bliss. But the next episode he already has like the bliss farm ready, like up and running. And that's not the best way to take the show. Like I don't think that was like the best way, like at least like the best form to take it. That felt a little bit weird, but then again, it picks up right after that, and it never stops. And again, it never stops hitting. That's the one little flaw that I feel the show has. But even then, it makes that it makes that time skip work in its own show. That it makes that little blemish work, and that's seriously impressive. And just it's just great. It's just great overall. I said earlier that there was no action, like not no big action sequences in the show, but even then, it doesn't need to make you tense. There are parts in the show that are legit, just like for example, one time Victor's having like a panic attack or something, while delivering bliss in this club, and it's such a tense moment because you're like, holy. Like, what the fuck? Get up! It's a tense moment. The show uses them so well. You feel like the tension in the characters because of what happens in the plot. Like it's handled so well. It's such good writing. Like I can't get everything in the show is well written, well acted. The effects are well done. Everything in the show is well done. They cooked very hard. This show is very, very good. So yeah, I don't think I have much more to say about the actual plot. Than I am very, very glad that it turned out well. I was not expecting much out of the show. I didn't want it to suck, but I did not expect this. This was just a very, very good show, and honestly, I think one of the best things I've ever watched. It had this thing that I haven't felt in so long. I was hooked. I've never felt as hooked on a show as I did for The Penguin. It was like the first time I really felt like I needed more of the show. And like, holy shit, I want to watch this episode. It was the first time I really felt that. The first time I really had that sensation. It was just so good. I was so sad that it's like it premiered on a Thursday, and then it like, but then the next episode didn't come out for another 9 days because it started airing on Sundays. Like, god damn it, dude. But I'm glad that, but like that way, like it was like me itching at my neck, just like wanting that next episode. At least I had to watch there, but I thought they didn't pick up until later on in the show. So yeah. So that's the Penguin. Was that about the future? Obviously, Colin Farrell has said that the Penguin has a few scenes in the Batman, and that's left a lot of people to really want Batman to beat up the Penguin. We see the bat signal at the end of the show proper, so it starts setting up for the Batman Part 2. Penguin's obviously at this. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention. I felt like him. The show itself for the plot, it's building up slowly. Everything in the show is like built up slowly. We see Penguin like go like worm his way, slither his way across the top. And when we get to it, it's kind of like, oh, it feels like at the end, doesn't feel unearned, but it feels kind of sudden. I feel like it didn't feel like it didn't feel it just again, it felt sudden. I can't really explain it more than that. It didn't feel unearned, but it definitely felt like weird seeing that, and it didn't feel like it led up to that, but. Again, but it did lead up to that. I just don't know why. I just don't know why I feel like that. But that's aside the point. The future, Penguin's gonna show up in Batman Part 2. We already know that. I don't think they're gonna do season 2 of the show. I don't think there's anywhere to go. And honestly, I feel like the ending for the show is like the best. Is like the best possible ending they could have gone. Some people think that Victor will become now that Victor faked his death and he is going to be Victor Zsasz because he's lost his ID and all that. I don't think so. I don't think so, and I don't want him to be Victor Zsasz. He would fit in with the Batman epic crime saga, very very well, but I don't like him. I don't like the idea of him being Victor Zsasz. I don't think it's in character for him to be Victor Zsasz. I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do want is that I do want the actor for Victor to get more roles. He is a very good actor. But yeah, I don't see season 2. We're gonna see what happens with the Batman Part 2. That got delayed to 2026. 2026 seems like a very packed year for DC. And honestly, this left me wondering what they're gonna do with other Batman villains. We know that there's a Clayface movie coming out in 2026 for DCU. We know that Clayface is showing up in Creature Commandos, so it's probably the same Clayface as it is then, as it is there. But we'll see where Clayface, how they're gonna handle Clayface. How they're gonna handle Clayface. It's not the same team. But I hope that this series is a sort of like indicator of what they want to do with with like Batman's rogue gallery and the care they're gonna put into the movies. I haven't watched much of Creature Commandos. I've only watched one episode, like one or two episodes, but I like it a lot, and I feel like I like it. I haven't watched a lot of it, but I do like Creature Commandos to the point that we are now. So I just want to mention that I have full faith in DC to deliver good movies. I hope. So yeah, been a good year. So overall, the Penguin's amazing. There are almost zero flaws, and even then, some of the flaws are very minute and probably just very big nitpicks for out of me. But aside from that, if you haven't watched The Penguin, go watch it. You will not regret it. And if it didn't seem obvious, The Penguin is an S tier show. It is just one of the best things to come out of last year. So yeah, what did you guys think about The Penguin? Leave in the comments below. All of our socials are in the description. And yeah, no, that's about it. See ya.